How about this, right? So this is three people sitting down talking, and we all make content, and we all really living kind of in this world. If you had to say whether it was overridingly good or bad for the world, or maybe the question is too complex and too difficult, but phones, media, the internet has done a lot of good in the world. I can't help seeing a lot of bad at the same time. What would you have said is the balance between good and bad? Yeah, it's a silly question, really. But
for me,
nah, not really.
For me, it's the Nokia 3310 was the perfect level. Yeah. It was like you could still call your friends, you could text them. It wasn't that nice to read the text. It wasn't as engaging. It wasn't as colourful. It didn't hook you in with all the other bullshit.
Yeah.
So you were enough connected that if you needed to reach someone, you could do it. Because I always think back to, imagine like you were talking about Glenn going and doing those races. Like how do you set off on a 35-hour drive with no phone, no Google Maps? You probably don't know where you're going. Like that's insane to me. So there's a fine balance, I think, with maybe. I think it's just for me. It's like the social media side of it is kind of it was started as a good thing, but it's obviously been manipulated and bended and taken advantage of a little bit, and people have got too strung up on checking things and not actually having real conversations. Because you'll do this, and I used to. I don't really use social media anymore, but you think, oh, so and so, my friends, they've had a baby. I've seen it, I've liked it, so I don't even have to bother calling them or like going around and taking a gift or all that actual meaningful, nice shit. And I think that's one thing that social media and media in general has taken away. It's like all those little niceties that you used to do and connections you used to make and just conversations that you'd have. So I've gone a bit of a tangent there. Apologies, but overall for me, that was
I agree with you. I think it's like I always say it's like the internet or social media or whatever, like it's all a tool, and a hammer's a tool, and you can build a house with a hammer, or you can hit some cunt in the head with a hammer. So it's like it's the same fucking tool. They can have two really fucking terribly different outcomes. So
100%, yeah.
It's almost like it's on you in a way to like read the user manual in a sense. And I feel like that term, read the user manual, should expand out to just every part of your life. Like, you're a fucking person that's like a complex person navigating a complex world. Like, you should have a really solid understanding of like what you are, who you are, how you work, what the world is, how different is the world from you. Like, all of these like really seemingly weird but fundamental questions. Like, I honestly feel like you should be spending most of your time figuring that out before you start to use this tool that could either build you a house or, and that's kind of just like society in general in a way, and like I spend, and it's my advice to all my friends as well, it's my advice to everybody is like, bro, figure your shit out in like every sense of the word, because I've like not figured my shit out for a really long time. And it's like you can kind of, I've always been trying to figure my shit out, and then as you start to slowly figure more things out, you can look back at your life and you figure out how fucking dumb you were. And so like now it's, I'm just literally obsessed with like reading the fucking user manual essentially.
Mate, you're so, there should be a user manual. If you think about what Instagram is like, it's like there's a finite number of hours in a day, right? So there should be a number within that number that you should spend looking at people with perfect lives. Because if you go over that number, if you go over the number of this like projected version of someone's life and it's perfect and it doesn't match yours, if you go over that number, it's not going to be good for you, dude. And then if you multiply that by 365 days, it's going to be fucking bad for you.
Yeah.
And like, all right, Instagram is one example. I'm not saying Instagram is even bad. I go on Instagram. I probably go on it too much. But imagine the opposite way around. Like, like instead of Instagram, it's like an app where you swipe through different road traffic accidents, maybe different animals at the side of roads with all their guts out. And you spend 3 hours a day going through that, and there's a fox with its brain coming out its eye socket, and you're just consuming this for 3 hours every day. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't not have an effect on your life.
But I think the thing is with that, Ollie, is that like, I think all of us sat here are probably quite privileged in the way that when we go on our social media, it is a lot of people saying nice things. You get like, that was cool, that podcast was great, and also opportunity. So sometimes you go in your DMs and it's like, yo, from this brand, do you want to do like? But there's people that obviously don't have that do have the fuck. Look at Olly Wilkins doing that. Look at Jace on that trip. Look at Davey on that new bike. Like, and that. It's so different. Like, you can't almost put yourself in that situation anymore.
But it can turn, can't it? Because it can just be your mindset.
You could say something on here.
Like, oh yeah.
You could say something on here, and the whole thing changes. Like, that's the weirdest thing as well. Like, you could say that one thing, and everyone's like, "Fuck that guy." It's done.
But you got to know what it like. So this comes back to just like knowing what it is. You know what I mean? Too. Like, I cannot. I don't give a fuck, like, probably pussy is probably the only exception to this, but it's like, I don't look at anything and want it. Like, I don't look at, you know, people's lives, I don't look at, you know, I don't see somebody's success and think, like, I wish I had that, or that just isn't a fucking mental concept that exists within my mind, and I think that comes back to reading the user manual. Like, what is this thing? Like, what am I looking at? And it's always like, what did I fucking used to say? I want to be an active producer instead of a passive consumer. That was like my little motto that I had, like, when Instagram first really became a thing. And it's like, I just wanted to be a part of, like, curating content in a way, or like participating in it, as opposed to just like consuming it in a sense. And then there's so many levels that you can just like see through what fucking Instagram or like social media in general is. And it's like, even down to the fact that, okay, Google, Facebook, fucking all these companies literally make the most money out of any other company. Am I saying this slow enough? They hire the smartest people in the world that are so much fucking smarter than any of us. And they just write lines of fucking code. And they just write these lines of code and these algorithms, and then they fucking farm your data. Like, that's a fucking crazy world, and that's not real. So, like, if
the whole thing's a trick, It's nothing new. It's the same as flowers being bright colours, and then they're poisonous. You know, it's the same shit. It is. It's nothing new.
But all the fucking user manual should say is, oi, this isn't real.
Yeah.
You got it? And then you go, yes, I got it. That's as fucking simple as it is.
Yeah, it's so true.